there's no way that we can just not break down
Yes.
these three ways or three options to preserve your mental health in the workplace. So
Absolutely.
you're the subject authority, and I love that we can relate to these items. Can we speak a little bit more about interviewing is a two-way street? What is that about?
Absolutely. So interviewing as a two-way street, of course, this is speaking from a little place of privilege. So if this is an option for you, of course, ask genuine questions. I know in every interview, they're like, oh, make sure you ask questions, but literally it could save you from a situation. Like, ask genuine questions or check out the environment. Let's say if I'm interviewing for a grocery store, before the interview, maybe I'll walk around the store, see what's really going on. Like, how the employees are feeling. Like, do they really need someone now and they're mass hiring, or is it like they have a lot of people on one particular shift? Is it employees are not really paying attention? There's no management. Like, you kind of fill it out. See, is that something you're willing to do? And that's a small view into the world, but I enjoy Glassdoor, and I'm not sponsored by Glassdoor, but I enjoy Glassdoor, any reviews of a company. Like, check it out, just overall, see if there's a common thread, good or bad. Like, and is that something I want to deal with? Unfortunately, I think I've helped myself. I interviewed for a company. I did 4 interviews. I was ecstatic about the interview. Like an hour before the interview, I just drove around the building, like just see the parking lot and things, see who's going into the building, ride around, kind of see the general environment or ambiance. Then I realized there were no people who remotely looked like me, age or color-wise. I'm like, okay, that may not present an issue, may present an issue. During a final interview, it was very apparent. I had to think, is that's an environment I wanted to work in? And it absolutely was not. So it kind of saved the company and I some heartburn. Like, I'm going to move on. I had the privilege to move on and choose a different company. So
that's good. Yes. That's good. I can relate to that too, because there was one company, and I promise, I feel like they were using some CIA tactics to break you down to make you just say yes. But because I look back and I was like, why did I agree to work there? And spoiler alert, I did quit. so fast. A buddy of mine, which just, she also writes resumes. Keisha Reed, she has a book coming out called "Quitting Is for Winners." And
yes, I've seen it. It's on my list.
I'm just like, oh man, like I can only imagine but I think as it relates to just mental awareness and mental health, you gotta have to definitely do for yourself. But that job that I went into, everyone was, and it's fine. Like I've willingly worked places or collaborated with places or volunteered at places where I was either one of few Black or brown people or the first. And I'm okay with that if I know that that's what's going on.
Yes.
But then you find out that you are going to be the token.
Yes.
And then you're like, okay, so this is the relationship immediately that you just want to use my skin so you can check off your boxes.
Yes.
Do you care? I know you do care what's in here, but if you're not willing to just tell me up front that we're facing a problem, we don't have diversity, we're taking a stab at it, this is what we have. I would have loved
that. Yes. I would have loved to, in the 4 interviews, someone had said that instead of, let's see, me blindly taking it and I arrive in my first 3 weeks. Everyone's looking at me like they've never seen, like if you see a zombie, like I've never seen, like if you see a unicorn, I've never seen a unicorn. Like, this is very awkward for me and my mental health. I knew at that time I would not be able to handle it. Maybe as I've grown more, but at the time there was no way.
I know, it's kind of like
a good point.
It's kind of like one of those things where you see a zebra or a giraffe walk through your office, everybody's looking.
Yes.
Like no matter who you are, and it shouldn't be that exotic. That's the issue. It shouldn't be that exotic to see someone who doesn't look like you or speak immediately like you or doesn't listen to the same music as you do or eat the same food as you do. And yeah, they took me around the office. I saw the truth at that moment, and then they sat me in a room, and they just kept taking. They kept taking turns. I was thinking, do I want to say that? So they would come in like one person at a time, interview me, 30-minute interview, 20 to 30-minute interview. Another one person would leave. There'd be a 10 to 15-minute gap. Then the next person would come in, ask me the same questions, leave, 20 to 30-minute gap. Next person would come in, ask me the same questions, leave. Now the fourth person is there, and then they finally ask me, "It's dark outside." I'm at this point, I'm hoping that they're gonna validate my parking at least.
Yes. I was thinking, feed me. I need lunch. I need water at this point.
Yeah. I'm like, man, I have to use the bathroom. And then they finally asked me, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I've been there for, going on 4 hours at this point. And they finally asked, so do you want to work here? Well, yes. Yes. Again, I feel like I was just so mentally drained. So I started working there, and it was just crazy. It was crazy to me. I went there, and it was cool at first, and I started realizing there was so many differences, and I was okay with minor differences, but then it just felt so odd at some point. It felt like a frat house, just as far as just younger guys there. It was just so many differences, and I realized this culture really isn't for me.
I'm sorry you experienced that.
But it's for the person who does not have the sense to say, you know what, this is not for me, and you can leave. It's okay. It is definitely okay to quit. It's okay to turn down an offer before you even get there, especially if you take Nyla's advice, which is check out the environment, ask questions, look to see what the reviews are. Form your own opinion, and try to think for yourself. And I think to add to that, if you don't know yourself enough to know what you will and will not stand for, then you're gonna go through those type paths.
And that's okay too. Sometimes it happens, like you said. I worked there, started working, and didn't work out. That's okay. Trial and error.
Right. Yeah. Trial and error. Yeah. So you said set boundaries.
Yes, absolutely.
Can you speak to that a bit?
Absolutely. Let's say I am very serious about work-life balance, and anyone who has ever worked with me as their HR professional, they will tell you I am very serious. Currently, my boundaries. So my team knows if I am not the weekend HR person, I will be unavailable. Unless there is a catastrophic emergency and everything is on fire, at that point, literal fire, you have to call a firefighter. I cannot do anything about that. So I still cannot help you. That phone goes off when it's time for me to leave. I leave. I set a boundary. They know on my calendar there is a time block every day for lunch. I could move it. I'm flexible enough to move that time, but there will be an hour lunch for me on that day. Speaking of learning about yourself, I know I am a hangry person. And in order to help myself and others around me, yes, I take my breaks. I take my lunch because I will get exhausted. It's something I had to learn the hard way. And so I've learned to set that boundary, stick to that boundary. If I'm on lunch, I will act like you don't, if you're a stranger on the street and you walk past and ask a question, I will answer that when I get off lunch. I will look into that when I get off lunch. Yes. Set those boundaries. Definitely. Absolutely.
She said she'll walk by you. So I don't recognize that man. I don't know him.
Don't know that man. I'm sorry. Yes, absolutely.
But you have to, though. And I think this is probably an entire episode by itself, so we might have to bring you back. But work-life balance when you're remote. When you're at a virtual company and you're at a remote company, work-life balance. There's so many ways. And I really feel like that needs to be its own episode. So
absolutely.
What I know is if you're in your room, or if you're in your office, or if you're in your living room or your kitchen, wherever your home office is, if you don't set those boundaries for yourself, your company will eat up.
Yes. It will gladly take whatever work. Yes. Whatever
that
work
you
you want to
have.
give them, they will take.
Oh my gosh.
No,
And I say that respectfully to any company. I think
absolutely.
the responsibility is on both sides. The company
Agreed.
should try to, at least during orientation or onboarding, set some type of boundaries, at least give them guidance. There's so many people, especially during this time, who are working remote for the first time in their
Yes.
lives. So give them some insight. It may be some common sense type things. We'll say, all right, block, you, like you just said, is your lunch
Number.
break? Block off your calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you need to run to, Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, whatever it is, block off your calendar. Communicate,
Absolutely.
with
Yes.
your, people that you report to.
Absolutely.
Set your out of office on if it needs to come to that. But
Yeah.
I think 3 short things that I would share is 1, definitely block off your calendar. 2, try to have one primary room that is going to be your office, because if
Mm-hmm.
not, when you're actually not working,
Yes.
whatever you're looking at is going to remind you of work, and you're never actually going to turn off. You're never actually going to clock out.
Absolutely.
And because of that, you'll start draining yourself
That's
just
how
being at
people get
home.
to. Yes. I'll just send that email real fast. Oh, I'll just do it real. No, like you said, if you can't have a room, have a corner. Like that's my
Yeah.
work corner with my desk. And if it's in your living room, when it's time to stop working at 5 or 6, listen, you can throw a blanket over the computer. You don't have to look at it. Don't look at it. It doesn't exist. Yes, just throw a blanket, block it, whatever you need to do. Now, I agree. Like that email can wait until tomorrow. If you heard a ping,
Yeah,
it also can wait until tomorrow. Unless
absolutely.
I guess you're a doctor, then that might be a little different. But
Yeah, unless you won't call and that kind of thing.
yes.
And that goes into the third thing. When you
Mm-hmm.
get off at 5, or if you get off at 4 or 3, depending on what your time is for your remote location or time zone, be off. Set
Yes.
your notifications off. Do not check your email while you're binge watching your favorite Netflix show, or while you're out to dinner with your friends or loved ones. Do not check your email. Do not check your pings on Slack or Teams or whatever it is that you're using. Be off, because if you don't, your personal life will bleed into your work life. Your work life will bleed into your personal life, and there's a never-ending cycle of you constantly being turned on and being drained, and you will burn out so fast into your profession, where you start to wonder, where did you go wrong?
Mm-hmm. And it can happen very easily. That's the tricky part. It can happen so easily, like one email or checking it while I binge watch, or I'll wash the dishes. Oh, I'll just send one email. Like, no, if you're at dinner, be with your loved ones, be at dinner. Because more so, it's about you. The companies will survive. I mean, we've seen that. The companies will be okay. Like,
Yeah.
take care of you and your loved ones. Turn it on.
Communicate and turn it off.
Yes.
Like, just don't, run away. Just set those boundaries, like she said. Which a boundary could also be taking breaks, which is your third item. Can you share a bit on that?
Yes, those breaks. Yes, that boundaries goes right into it. Even if you have to be strict on yourself, like you could be flexible. Like I am flexible. Like I told you with the lunch breaks, I can move it around for the day. Some days, if things are going crazy, I can shorten it from an hour to 45 minutes.
Right.
It has to happen. It has to happen.
For sure.
If things really crazy, I have to take a 15-minute walk and come back, and I'm fine with that. But take those breaks. Like I took off time to go to the SHRM conference where I met Travis, and that really, I feel like, what is the word? Like revitalized my love for work. I needed that break.
Yeah.
I was getting really close to burnout and didn't even realize until I had 4 days off in a row, and I'm like, I really needed that fresh air, because I even with my options and my checklist still almost not failed, but you lose track of things. So definitely schedule those, take that PTO, take those lunches, take a mental health day. If you are not like sick physically, but if you're just like, I can't put any more information in my brain right now, take the time off, mental health day, and use a sick day. And that is legal. You can look at the Department of Labor. That is legal.
Absolutely. And I feel like that could be his own episode as well. But that is definitely a great segue for the next thing you said, which was a bonus.
Yes,
You said
bonus.
essentially just make sure that you use your resources. So,
Yes.
what type of resources do you feel like people overlook?
Um, I think honestly, so many, and that's only because in human resources, you know a little more about benefits packages and what's going on.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like a lot of employees, in my experience, overlook like the mental health options that are available to you. Like if your company may have like a discount for Talkspace, which is like an app if you want to talk to a professional,
Hmm.
or BetterHelp, which is a similar app. You have discounts for that, or a lot of companies I have worked for, which is could be get a little extensive. A lot of companies all had like 3 free therapy sessions. So if you're looking to
Oh
talk to a
yeah.
therapist, 3 free sessions before you even get to paying, before you commit to a therapist. If you, let's say something extreme is happening and you feel like you need to talk to someone right away, 3 free sessions could definitely make a difference, especially in the unfortunate state of at least the US right now, and
Yeah.
parts of the world. Like with COVID, mental health was definitely an issue. Anxiety is rising. Unfortunately, suicide rates are rising. Like use whatever resources you can. You don't have to earn, I don't know, work there a certain amount of time. Like, oh well, I never need really anything, or it's not that serious. You can get a discount on the gym membership. Use that. Like
Yeah.
keep your, financial wealth, and use those discounts. And physical activity also helps you mentally. So a lot of things, yeah,
You
overlooked.
know,
Mhm.
I can definitely relate to that, Nyla, because um, an example is I remember I was going up, talking to my employer, saying, "Hey, I need more money." The tough conversation of negotiating, and um, it's kind of hard to, at least for me, because
Mhm.
you'll take a look at my LinkedIn profile and like, gosh, he's gonna like say some special stuff to get whatever he's gonna get the keys to the whole business. Like, no, again, I'm an employee. I'm gonna respect that, and I'm not trying to play any games. I'm just letting you know that these are the reasons why I feel like I need some more money. And so I started negotiation process, and I was able to get a $20,000 increase at that time.
Yes.
And one thing that was big to me, and I really appreciate the CEO of the company for
Mhm.
saying this to me, kind of set me up to the side and say, "Hey, we're gonna bump up your pay. Here's some resources, some financial resources.
Mhm.
We understand that I remember you mentioned, Travis, that rent is $2,000 a month kind of thing. So here's some resources, some financial resources to help you plan for house purchasing, and
Nice.
they were already included. I didn't take advantage of that prior,
Mhm.
but it helped that a leader of the company, just so happened the CEO of the company, did mention that, and I thought that it was very kind of them. So I can definitely appreciate that.
I'm happy. I'm happy to hear it. Yeah. First home, first home buyers, which I will be one soon. It's a new world. If you never, I think if you never entered that world, and a lot of employers, if not all of them or majority of them at this point, like have resources. If you're a first time home buyer, like resources and questions, you can get on the phone with someone and have like a 30, 40 minute consultation, and it's free.
Sure.
It's there for you. Or on the other extreme, if you need, let's say you're out of a home and you have nowhere to go tonight, your employee assistance program or your employee resources, they will have like someone you can call who can tell you shelters in the area. So
Yeah,
it's extensive, and it's probably why no one looks at it because there's so much information.
it
But
is.
yes, get with those resources.
And
You
I feel like
deserve them.
sometimes like that works against the company, and it affects more so the employee when if you have too many things, or if marketing then collaborate with HR to make the PDF nice and shiny and attention grabbing
Yes.
to know, oh, these are the benefits that we have just in case XYZ happens, then you're just not going to take the time. If it looks like a contract and you're just going to just start glazing over and not really even take the time to read it, I would definitely say that there's ways that benefits or those types of resources can be better presented. I mean, even if it's verbally, just take a moment to speak to your HR representatives, maybe the top person who knows all the resources, the person who's responsible for purchasing those resources on your behalf. I think they would definitely have insight. So here, I did a quick search. Indeed, and a couple more sites have some up and coming resources that companies are finding to be highly competitive and effective. And people are actually now getting to the point where if you don't have said benefit, that may detour them from wanting to work with you.
Makes sense.
So here are some. She mentioned mental health programs, financial wellness programs, team connection. If you're in an environment, give them the option to go off site and get away from their home if you possibly can. Flexible or unlimited PTO, childcare, pet insurance, a personalized benefit program. I know unlimited PTO is one of those things where it sounds nice, but I used to work for Uber, and I've come to appreciate that unlimited PTO is one of those things where it's not an illusion, but you never actually use, like when you know you have I always say, if you always have a jar full of whatever your candy is over there, you're just like, okay, now I don't want it. Or I don't want as much of it because I know it's there and it's there whenever I want it, and you just don't even use it all.
Exactly.
Like now you actually use less. Now you don't use it. It's like, okay, flexible work hours, which basically means, okay, what time zone are you in? Or, as long as your work is done, can you manage your own, space? I definitely appreciate companies who offer education opportunities or career advancement opportunities, because they'll say, all right, LinkedIn Learning or Udemy or your local university or Coursera, for example, they have these different partnerships with companies like Google, and you can get certifications, or even Harvard, and you can get yourself a certification to level up or upskill yourself. Gym memberships. Okay, companies, if you're remote, you're no longer paying for a lease. You're no longer paying for maintenance on your building or for someone to come and clean it up. You're no longer paying for the snacks, the coffee, the bagels. You're saving a lot of money, and on top, you're not even using your own electricity anymore.
Yeah.
So
I was just going to say that. The lights.
So why not? Why not pay $10 a month for? And I'm not sponsored by Planet Fitness or anything. Why not pay $10 a month for them to go and get a Planet Fitness membership, or $20 a month so they can go anywhere they want to go to get a gym membership?
Absolutely.
Or a stipend. I mean, depending on what state the person may be in, it may actually be a part of their law for the employer to pay for additional utilities, for them. So definitely keep that in mind. And I'm just going to read a few more off the list, and I'm going to make sure I drop the link here below. Shorter days near the holidays, extended parental leave. So that's maternity and paternity leave. So if you're a dad or mom, you can take time up to 12 weeks, 12 months sometimes, which is a long time, but depending on the circumstance. Stock fridge and pantry, we were just speaking about that. Send them a stipend for Uber Eats, so they can get some snacks at their home, or certain foods. Company sponsored events, paid volunteer holidays, educational opportunities. We spoke to that. Remote work options for those that are not virtual. Commuter benefits.
A new benefit that people are probably already seeing with like Roe versus Wade being overturned, you're going to see a lot of benefits, or if you don't, look for it with your company, benefits of supporting those who are looking to maybe take advantage of some medical services that may not be available in your state.
Wow.
They're paying for like reimbursement or travel or extended time off if you need to travel for such medical services. There's a lot of ways companies are still trying to help out. So look out for that at whatever company you're at.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's really good. I think if you don't ask, you won't know. I mean, and don't depend. I think this is the main takeaway. Don't necessarily just depend on the company to be forthcoming and share all the things that you may not know, because they may not know. They're employees too. They may not know all the things that you may need. So there may be the personalized plan where you can sit down with them and say, okay, this is what I got going on in my life, or this is what I have. And so based on that, here's some things I feel like you may be able to benefit from. So Nyla, this has been a jam-packed episode.
Yes.
So I think what I'll do is we're going to have you back.
I would love to. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
You have a wealth of knowledge, and I think people can really benefit from that. So again, if you are wanting to follow and connect with Nyla, if you want to continue the conversation, I'm sure she's very responsive. I was able to connect with her on LinkedIn, right there at the SHRM event, and she's on Instagram as well and Twitter. And her handles are on Instagram and Twitter, Nyla J Today, and on LinkedIn, she is Nyla T Johnson. Nyla, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing this information that you have. You are a wealth of knowledge. You have so much value to give, and I know that anyone listening to this is definitely going to come out better because of it. Okay,
I hope so. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and I look forward to hearing it and being invited back.
Absolutely. Well, look, if there's ways that we can help you be more successful, please do reach out, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.